Thank you so much for joining us here on JoyNews Prime. Let's begin from Parliament because the majority in the House has shut down calls by the minority for the removal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa and Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Smith, dismissing the demands as baseless and politically motivated. The majority insists the minister and the ambassador remain unfit for office despite concerns raised over recent U.S. visa restrictions affecting Ghana. There's more in the following report.
The minority in Parliament on Tuesday called for the dismissal of Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, blaming him for the latest U.S. visa restrictions, which now include Ghana. According to the minority, the development stems from what they describe as the minister's utterances, actions and inaction, arguing that he has failed to live up to expectations. Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, Nana Asafo-Adjei insists the minister is unfit to remain in office.
So, firing the minister while it's necessary is insufficient move by President Mahama. Must act decisively on multiple fronts. First, he must deploy a presidential special envoy to Washington immediately. This cannot wait for normal channels. The president must send a respected, trusted senior figure with direct authority to negotiate Ghana's removal from this list in a way that is mutually beneficial.
The minority also demanded for the removal of Ghana's ambassador to the United States, Victor Smith.
Ambassador Smith has apparently forgotten that his job is not to be the government propaganda chief in America. His job is to protect Ghana's interest in Washington, to engage, to negotiate, to prevent disasters like this visa freeze. He has failed catastrophically. President Mahama must recall him immediately.
However, the majority on the Foreign Affairs Committee has rejected the calls. Chairman of the committee, Alfred Oko-Vanderboy, says the majority will not support any move to sack either the minister or the ambassador.
He's worked on reducing passport charges. Ghanaians are happy about it. Passport processing. You know, today is the fastest. It's ongoing. And Ghanaians are benefiting out of it. Ghanaians are happy. You know, so please, I don't think this is the time to call for the removal of the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Every Ghanaian I know have realized and have seen his hard work every day in this country.
Vice Chairman of the committee, Cletu Seidu Dapila, also took issue with the minority's position, describing the demands as unfounded and unjustified.
Within the 1 year that he served in that ministry, he's done so well. He fared well. He's done so marvelously well and deserves accolades, not to be reprimanded. Particularly, Honorable Asafo, the words you used were very unprintable. That is not diplomacy. It's unfortunate. Next time, if you want to do a press conference, don't use such words on a colleague, particularly your senior and all of that. So you can't describe such a man that everybody in Ghana knows to be somebody who is worthy of a man or a politician. You cannot come and describe him that he's untrusted or he's somebody that is disrespectful. That I wouldn't agree with Asafo-Adjei.
The majority insists the minister has conducted himself with distinction and should rather be commended. For JoyNews, Michael Ashali.
Well, some political parties have joined pressure group Arise Ghana to picket the U.S. Embassy on day 2, demanding the American government immediately deport former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to the country. Speaking to my colleague at the picketing Director of Communications for the United Party, Solomon Owusu, urged the American government not to shield corrupt officials from Africa. There's more in the following report.
The second day of the picketing started differently from the first day, with protesters marching along the roundabout at the embassy.
Compared to yesterday, where the protesters were stationed at one particular place, today is not the case. They have decided to move around the big runabout at the U.S. Embassy and causing vehicular traffic here.
Before we even decided to warm up, we told the police that in the letter we stated, we wrote to them, we actually stated in that letter that we will be picketing American Embassy. So where we stood yesterday was not American Embassy, and where we are today is not American Embassy. So we will definitely be going to the American Embassy. And I told them that diplomatically...
When you say you go to the American Embassy, what do you mean? What do you mean? Because this is the main road of the embassy just in front of them.
Because when American guys came out yesterday, they told us that, okay, if we wanted to take pictures or videos, we should go the other side of the road. We should cross the road, or we should do it across the road. So that definitely tells you that this is the American Embassy. Where we are is Ghana. So if somebody should be running away from justice, for instance, and the person is here, where we are now, that person will definitely be within Ghana's jurisdiction. But if the person crosses the road to the other side, he is no more in Ghana's jurisdiction.
Some concerned citizens who joined the picketing on day 2 also urged Kenofo-Wiatta to return to the country.
Please, Donald, please, Madakuku, me Babofai, me, I'm begging you, Trump, please, just release him for us. You just release Ken for us.
We have nothing to do with Kenofo-Wiatta's immigration issues. All we are asking is he should come home and face justice. We have nothing to do relating to his immigration issues. He should come home. He should come home and account for his stewardship as a former Minister of Finance.
Listen to me. I want to stop. I'm a gun boy. I want to talk for Wiatta say we they beg him. American embassy takes it to come to Ghana. That matter we want to see him. Wiatta, come and see the movie for everything. You say A, B, right A, B. I will see everything we like it.
Director of Communications for United Party Solomon Owusu, speaking to JoyNews, called on the US government not to tolerate state officials who are involved in corruption.
And let me tell you that in the days coming, the numbers will be larger than this. They must not take this exercise to be one of those things. And this is why we entreat the American people to be very serious with the Ghanaian. They must not create the impression that they are shielding corrupt officials from Africa. They have been talking about accountability. If Ghanaians are pushing for accountability, they must be the first country to support us.
The picketing is expected to continue on Thursday as the organizers hope to persist until Ken Ofo-Wiatta is deported into the country. Collins Frimpon's report read to you.
Member of the legal team for former Finance Minister Ken Ofo-Wiatta has clashed with the convener of pressure group Arise Ghana over what he says are disparaging comments against his client. The group in the last couple of days have been picketing the American embassy here in Accra to put pressure on the U.S. government in the former Finance Minister's extradition process, which in fact took center stage during the court proceeding on Tuesday. There's more in the full report.
Ken Ofo-Wiatta, after appearing before U.S. Immigration Court Judge David Gade in the bond hearing case, was remanded into ICE custody after his lawyers failed to secure his bail. First, listen to U.S.-based immigration lawyer Janelle Okulu explain exactly what the process entailed.
What his lawyers are trying to do is basically to get him out of detention. He's detained. I'm sure he's very uncomfortable in his current situation, and they just want to get him out. They want him to be able to, return home for the rest of this process instead of essentially being, in detention.
Member of Ken Ofo-Wiatta's legal team, Frank Davis, says the court is set to make a determination on the bail application on 19th February.
The bond or bail application will be determined on the 19th of February. The 27th of April is for the continuation of the NTA.
Frank Davis, in this interaction, also reacted to the ongoing picketing for Ken's return. He called out some members of the group over what he describes as disparaging comments against his client.
And all Ghanaians are saying, you've taken our money. He has deprived so many Ghanaians and the youth from jobs, medicals, roads, everything.
They must not create the impression that they are shielding corrupt officials from Africa.
You make such hurtful, such pernicious, and such invidious remarks about someone who has not even said a word in court. Ken has not even been tried. He hasn't had any say in court.
This has, however, drew strong reprisal from one of the conveners of the group, Bernard Mona.
The levels of accusations that we have made, if they are true, he should be determined to come to Ghana to come and respond, so that even your little image that you have put on the line for him, you will be saved. Frank Davis, you can't be saying the things you are saying anytime. Who should desist from what? And you cannot desist.
It is unclear whether the immigration court will grant Ken Ofori-Atta bail or not when he appears on February 19.
Well, today marks the final phase of the Phase 2 Ghana Prison Service recruitment screening. So far, the exercise has been notably smoother, benefiting from lessons learned during past armed forces recruitment exercises. Speaking to the media, Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak highlighted the measures put in place to ensure a chaos-free and efficient screening process. Manvi Sefakote has the rest of the story.
The Ghana Prison Service commenced Phase 2 of its recruitment screening on January 19, ending today, January 21, 2026. This phase focused on body selection, vitals inspection, and record verification. The exercise has been largely chaos-free, following the introduction of a fully computerized screening system, which has reduced human interference and improved efficiency. Interior Minister Muntaka Mohamed Mubarak explained the measures adopted by the ministry to ensure a smooth and orderly process.
You remember when we came, we had to investigate the previous recruitment, and we realized there were a lot of lapses. So we sat together and realized that we need to try and make amends and correct some of the lapses. And you can see that what we have done is having thought through all the process from start to finish. And we decided that, look, can we digitalize every process? And this is the result of the digitalization. So we've digitalized every process from the start, where you get your form, how you complete it, how you get information, everything is digitalized, up to going to college. Nobody is going to be called to come and hand over any paper to you. If there will be paper, it is you who download it. It will have a barcode where it can be scanned to check its authenticity.
The sector minister further stressed that middlemen have been effectively blocked from exploiting applicants, as enhanced screening controls have eliminated opportunities for extortion and unapproved fees.
If anybody thinks that he can use this system to enrich himself or herself, they should think again, because every payment is through that system, the system that we've created, the centralized system. So that's why I was cautioning them. Don't let anybody send you, deceive you, saying that, oh, pay your medicals through this phone, or send you some message telling that, oh, you've qualified to an estate, so pay that. It will be through the very portal that you receive text message and information that should come for the body selection.
Meanwhile, Director of Human Resources at the Ghana Prison Service, Alhaji Shaibu Yahaya, outlined the next steps in the recruitment process as Phase 2 comes to an end.
There will be aptitude tests that we will get in touch with the applicants for you to know when you are doing the aptitude test. And this time, like I said, it's going to be online. Nobody will come to sit in a classroom to write exams. It's going to be online. You receive your questions, you are given a duration, click and answer. That's it.
In all, about 70,000 applicants applied to join the Ghana Prison Service nationwide, with approximately 12,000 screened in the Greater Accra region alone, representing nearly 17% of total applicants. Authorities say the process has remained smooth due to strict enforcement measures by the Interior Ministry. Mama Visefa Kote's report for Joy News.
Let's take you to the roads now, because the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, is tonight planning to launch other major operations to clamp down on drivers charging unapproved fares and engaging in short-distance operations aimed at exploiting passengers. The union's task force pitched camp at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and other surrounding areas to fish out offending drivers. There's more in the following report.
According to the union, the exercise forms part of broader measures to address growing indiscipline among drivers and to tackle transportation challenges in Accra. The National Guard's commander of the GPRTU, Derrimond Ekogezi, has been speaking to Joy News.
Some of them do overcharge, and then some of them also do take short distance. Instead of going to maybe from Awoshi to Kaneshi, he will tell you he's going to Ablakwa or Anya, then he will drop you there, and then the same person will continue the same journey again. And this is why, especially these drivers here today, you are seeing, they are the short men which we have arrested now.
Deputy spokesperson of the union, Samuel Amwa, noted that the conduct of some drivers who operate outside recognized unions is compounding the transport challenges in the city. Hence, the need for this operation to identify and crack down on such drivers.
But the fact is, you see, all the vehicles that were arrested, among the 15 vehicles, it was only one vehicle that belongs to a union. And we normally say that these things that are going on, most of the vehicles don't belong to any of the union. That is why it's very difficult for us, because we've been advising them about some of these things. So we think that it's going to help.
Meanwhile, some of the arrested drivers insist their arrests were unjustified, claiming they had not charged multiple fares at the time they were picked up.
The traffic will also, catch me. So for that matters, I'll go to Odoko and then do 10. I will do U-10 and then come to Mala Market and then do another.
But they said they've arrested you because you are charging unapproved fares.
That is not true.
It is not true?
That is not true, because I haven't charged anyone double fare. It's normal fare that I usually charge. And having been overpricing my fare.
Obia charge Obia normal fare na yeji. What I say, but the angel money and say, Ebia, or more can say, Ebia, melody short, Miss Melody short. What I say, me then or chess and melody short. Maybe I may call us a water, men for me car. Simple.
Yes, in charge of your friend, I can see the court. And then I. Yeah, my Lodi house market near Daniel Wabapu, I was watching, yes, I didn't tell me the house market. Then I asked what, and I didn't come with Yanuano, as a moment.
The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Oklu, is warning the various MMDCs within her jurisdiction against using their staff and technocrats in sanitation exercises. The minister says she has received complaints that instead of employing environmental staff for the cleanup exercises, the staff of the assemblies are being made to do the work. The minister made this known during her tour of some parts of the region. There's more in this report.
President John Mahama is said to have given the directive for the various assemblies to embark on cleanup exercises from Wednesday to the end of the week to ensure that the capital is clean all the time. Acting on this directive, the regional minister, Linda Oklu, together with some members of the Regional Coordinating Council, toured some assemblies to assess the work being done. She started her tour from the Circle Enclave. There, the MC for Ayawasu East, Rudolph William, mentioned that the Assembly is planning a decongestion exercise to enhance sanitary conditions and ensure proper development following the fire outbreak at VVIP Intercity Bus Station at Circle.
We are clearing the whole place to make sure that we have redevelopment in the area, to also make sure that the entire Circle Enclave is being kept clean when it comes to sanitation and human activities. The director of Koleklote is here. Yesterday I was in the office to meet my honorable colleague Gezi, and we also spoke with Accra Mayor that we will have a serious decongestion exercise. We will have a press conference tomorrow to make sure that we create awareness, so that when we are coming, people will not be that we've not advised them or we've not made them aware that this is the exercise coming.
The minister also advised the assembly to engage traders adequately ahead of the exercise and to provide them with alternative locations to continue their businesses.
So do proper engagement, engage the people, and then look for a location for them so that they wouldn't be stranded. As much as we want to beautify the place, we should also think about them. Where they are going to put their items. That is what they get their daily bread. And so let's also identify a place for them to sit before we decongest the place.
At the scene of the fire incident, the minister assured the affected traders of government support.
We are yet to wait feedback from the fire service to know the cause of the fire, and then the affected victims, no matter what it is, the government is ready to support them.
The minister was generally impressed with the cleanup exercises in the municipalities, including Ga North and Kwale Klote, but advised the MMDCEs to employ people to do the cleaning rather than use staff of the municipal assemblies.
And also, please, let's put this on record. Some of you are using your staff to be doing your cleaning. Employ task force to be doing that. The staff are there to assist, but it's not their duties to be cleaning for you.
She was not so much impressed with the work being done at Okaikwe North and Gas Central. She cautioned the MCEs to collaborate with the MPs and assembly members to ensure sanitary conditions at the areas.
I'll say so far so good, in the exception of Okaikwe North and then Gas Central. But I hope hence they'll pick up and make sure that, yes, they'll do the needful. So they've been asked, in fact, it's the same story like Gas Central and Okaikwe. Because they've contracted people to work, they don't come to monitor whether indeed the people have worked or not.
The minister urged the MMDCEs to continue the cleanup exercises regularly and not only on Sanitation Day. For Joy News, Gemma Apia.
Let's take you to the Ashanti region now, because the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly was expected to conduct its planned eviction exercise at Ahonjo Santasi Road after issuing a final notice for occupants to voluntarily vacate the area. A visit to the area on Wednesday revealed that the eviction exercise had not taken place, with majority of the temporary occupants still at post. Kumasi Metro Chief Executive Richard Ofori Ejiman-Boedi says the exercise will rather take place intermittently at night until the end of the month to dismantle all billboards and remove structures scattered along the stretch. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku reports.
So from my time here, or date on my watch, it says today is the 21st of January 2026, and it was expected that the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly would run a mass eviction along this particular stretch. And I'm currently standing at Ahonjo Roundabout, and behind me is the route that leads to Santasi. This road has been earmarked for a road dualization project by the government. It was expected that the temporary occupants along this stretch would vacate the premises before the 20th of January 2026. But unfortunately, majority of them are still scattered along this route. The KMA has served several notices to these occupants to leave the premises, but it looks or it appears that they are not ready to go. In fact, they tell us that until they see machines operating on this particular stretch, they are not ready to move out.
What do you look at?
Look at the people here. They vacated those along the Bekwai Roundabout to Santasi stretch, but nothing is happening there.
Is it more to Nipano or Duaniago? Is it Nipano? On your ding.
But if you're much, let's sorry, I'm quite best about 1 month. Let's just simply escape machine. If
they start the road construction, we will leave.
Machine started say
But during an inspection of the phase 1 of the Asokwa Road project, the Kumasi Mayor, Richard Ofori Ejiman-Boedi, attributed the delays to logistical challenges. He explained the exercise would likely be carried out at night.
So we have come to inspect the extent of work here today, and we are telling those of the other brothers who are operating garages on the other end to see what is happening here and take immediate steps to liaise with the Metro Roads engineer, the fiscal planning officer, and the national coordinator to look for alternative places. We cannot get spaces for all of them, but at least those who will come as early as possible will be able to find some spaces for them. Beginning tonight, we are going to remove every container, every temporary structure from the Ahonjo Roundabout to Santasi Roundabout. And then billboards that are also there, we are going to take steps to remove them. It will start from tonight. Every night from tonight, we'll make sure that we'll take some and make sure that by the end of January, we'll have taken away all billboards and all containers. And then when we are done with that, then we'll take steps to clear those of the garages that as we have done here.
For the time being, the temporary occupants scattered along this stretch will continue to be wherever they are until they see action happening on this route. From here at Ahonjo Roundabout in Kumasi, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku.
You're still watching JoyNews Prime. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this quick tip.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on JoyNews Prime.
To other stories now, government has recovered 107 million Ghana cedis in Exim Bank loan, even as some disbursements are under investigation by security agencies over suspected irregularities. The move is part of broader efforts to clean up legacy loans, improve oversight and strengthen credit quality. Government says these steps are aimed at boosting accountability and supporting economic growth. More on these developments from today's Government Accountability series, including plans to revive Commander Sugar Factory, in the following report.
In 2025, Exim Bank disbursed a total of 304 million Ghana cedis under a strict credit creation policy aimed at strengthening credit quality and supporting economic growth. As part of ongoing recovery efforts, Minister of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, Elizabeth Ofosu-Jare, noted that the bank has collected 107 million in repayments, while some other loans have been referred to the appropriate security agencies over concerns about how they were issued.
Recovery efforts on legacy loans are ongoing. They've initiated legal proceedings on several of the cases, while others have been referred to appropriate security agencies for further action. There are loans that we don't know how they were disbursed, and then we have referred it to the appropriate quarters for same to be dealt with expeditiously.
The Trade Minister added that the government has set up an interim management committee to oversee the revival of the Commander Sugar Factory. The committee has since submitted its first report, with a final report expected on Monday.
In respect of the Commander Sugar Factory, which is very top on our agenda for the year, I've put together an interim management committee. The committee has submitted their first report. Their next and final report is due on Monday. I've also, in respect of Commander Sugar Factory, written to the Attorney General. Usually, the Attorney General has to guide the process to enable us to pick a transactional advisor to determine the best operational options to operationalize Commander Sugar Factory and the others.
The minister noted that effective this year, uniforms and apparel for security agencies and other state institutions will now be produced locally.
Through the intervention of the ministry this year, uniforms and other apparel for state institutions will be sourced locally from our producers. Ghana Prison Service is sewing, still made in Ghana. Private people are sewing, still made in Ghana. The most important thing is that all uniforms must be made in Ghana. We should not enrich other countries at our detriment.
These actions signal a renewed push for accountability, strengthening local industry, and providing stronger support for Ghana's economy. Reporting for Joy News, Derek Nimako and Michelle Lati.
Away from the 52 foreign nationals have been arrested by the national security in the northern region for various crimes, including human trafficking, cybercrime, and Ponzi schemes. The suspects include 12 Ivorians, 2 Liberians, and 32 individuals from Burkina Faso. An additional 7 were later apprehended from Fu, a community in the Sanerigo municipality. They are currently being processed and will be handed over to immigration authorities.
The arrest highlights the efforts of national security to tackle cross-border crime in the northern region. The authorities said they are on top of their job, therefore people in the region should feel safe. Speaking to Joy News Regional Security Liaison Officer RSM Adam Mohammed said most of the suspects were lured in believing they were being prepared to travel to Europe.
We tried to run a profile of each and every one of them, and we realized that some of them, they've been lured into the country with the hope that they would try to go to abroad. They promised them, and some too were brought in to practice the SkillNet recruitment scheme.
According to him, it's a chain and they are working to get the rest of them arrested.
Upon thorough interrogation and profiling, we realized that it's a chain, and those that we have arrested, basically they are just 45, but they are more than that. We are digging into getting the rest, and very soon, like I said, the assurance can be given to the general public. We would get hold of the rest.
A suspect who spoke to Joy News claimed they did not know why they were arrested.
Is on the baggage, you know.
I don't know why we were arrested. They just suddenly showed up on us. I asked why they are arresting us, but they just brought us here. We sell products. We are not involved in scam or any other criminal activity. We were just marketing our products.
Away from that, 13 sex workers arrested by the National Security in Tamale were made to sweep the market as a deterrent. The women apprehended from areas including Jubilee Park and the Bank of Ghana stretch were given this unusual punishment, both to serve as a caution and to help keep the city clean. According to the Northern Regional Liaison Officer of Security, the officer explained that the measure was intended to discourage others from engaging in similar activities.
Prostitution is gaining popularity in the area, attracting both Ghanaian and foreign nationals to the old age trade. It's against this background that the National Security undertook the exercise to clamp down on prostitution and drug trade. The arrested women were seen sweeping the streets, a move that has sparked mixed reactions from the public. Speaking to Joy News, Regional Security Liaison Officer RSM Adam Mohammed said they were made to clean the business district.
Carried out a swoop on night workers. For a better word, I would say night workers. Quite recently, we carried out an operation on them, and they were highly profiled, and we handed them over to the authorities. Our city, or the municipal, has been engulfed with so many debts and trash. So we thought it wise to direct them so that they could aid in the cleanup exercise of our cities.
He said they were later handed over to the security, adding that they also arrested some drug peddlers.
They were on record, I think there were about 13 of them. Aside from that, we've carried out operations on drug peddlers, and these drug peddlers we have, like I said, from upon assumption of office, I said any criminal or no one found to have broken any law would be shielded from prosecution. But if you found yourself to have broken a law, I think the law would take you on.
Let's return to Kumasi, because at least 10 traders at Dr. Mensah, a suburb of Kumasi, have been summoned by the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly for operating in poor sanitary condition. A drainage facility running through the frontage of their shops have for months now been concealed in filth, emanating unbearable stench and posing serious health risk. Meanwhile, a local eatery in the area was closed down, with the owners charged for operating an unauthorized commercial toilet facility in the area.
Walking through the Krobo Odumasi market, otherwise known as Dr. Mensah in Kumasi, a sight not missed is this drain seeping out its filthy water. The drains running around stalls in the area have for months now been concealed with slabs and choked with heavy garbage. The blocked gutter has become a breeding ground for environmental canker, posing serious health risks. Kumasi Metro Chief Executive Richard Oforiachman Bodi, together with environmental health officers at the KME, stormed the area to trace the source of the filthy water.
Muma totals ewaha akataso meba wo totals e dia babetwa eti ene se kase ye ba be ye adwuma na kwa gata re dan because makataso ye ni ba bia gata no kwa da It's a him for the befa and I make us say, Moon system no man in Cabo Stone. Then Nimunda, nay, who require a befa swa, your best problem.
Operating behind the shops is a local eatery, Alpha and Omega, which officials say is primarily contributing to the choked gutters. The food joint has for years been the go-to place for the traders serving all kinds of local meals. Owners of the facility were found to be operating a commercial toilet facility which they argued had permits from the local assembly. But the mayor rejected the claims, insisting the documents were unauthorized as he called for the removal of his staff reported to be issuing the said documents. The mayor ordered for the immediate closure of the facility over the serious sanitation breaches.
They have not been able to show us channels through which the wastewater passes through, and they are operating public toilet facilities here. We don't know where the septic tank is, and so we are taking steps to hold them before the courts for them to be sanctioned. Yes, I'm closing down the chop bar because they are also contributing to the blockade of the gutters on the roadside, so they are creating nuisance, and we also want to make sure that we apply appropriate sanctions on them for them to do the right thing. Our intention is not to destroy their business, we want them to do the right thing. At
least 10 of the traders were charged for sanitary breaches and are expected to face the KMA court on Friday. For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku.
Away from that, let's head now to the Upper West region, where the regional minister Charles Luangwa Posing has expressed concern over the poor maintenance of state-owned bungalows by some tenants in the region. He says the situation discourages government investment in staff housing. The minister argues that funds should rather be invested in upgrading the Upper West Regional Hospital rather than in poorly maintained housing. Correspondent Rafik Salam reports from Wa.
The one low-cost houses located at Doble, the Catering Rest House, and the nurses' quarters at Dego Government Residential Area were constructed by the Colonel Kutu Achampong administration to address the accommodation challenges of workers in the Denwa district. Priority was given to nurses here due to its proximity to the Denwa Regional Hospital, hence the name Nurses' Quarters. Other critical staff working at the Denwa District Assembly and the regional administration were also accommodated at Catering Rest House and the double low-cost houses. The narrative, however, has changed, and the bungalows and quarters are now being occupied by the different categories of workers in the municipality. The state of some of these beautiful state-owned bungalows and quarters constructed for the middle class, however, is now in a deplorable state due to the lack of culture of maintenance by the occupants, and in some cases, the departments they are located to. Our Power Minister, Charles Wonga Pozun, is unhappy about the state of the quarters and bungalows.
Some you go, liver braids, 2 or 3 are broken in somebody's house. He's going to buy a plywood to come and fix. Something is hanging. It's government must fix it. Meanwhile, you are living there. Because if you go and rent anybody's house, you can't go and break a liver blade and put a plywood there. You will be moved out in the next day. But those of you who happen to be lucky to live in some, very soon people will move out. We'll invite some of you. You go and see a WC somebody's been using, is half broken. You ask yourself, do the fellows squat on it, sit on it, or hang on it to free themselves?
Government in 2007, through the State Housing Company, broke the ground for the construction of affordable housing for workers. After the foundation concrete and the pillars were constructed by some of the contractors, the project was abandoned and now overtaken by weeds. Lawyer Charles Wongo Pozun says government is actively working on its housing policy, which the abandoned warehousing project is inclusive. Yoruba was quick to add that, considering the reckless behavior of some tenants with respect to the maintenance of state-owned bungalows, if he were to advise the government, he would rather opt for the funds to be invested in the Upper West Regional Hospital.
So I think that we must look at our maintenance culture only to start talking about building what? New and affordable ones. So if the government has money to build, I would rather encourage government to improve on our regional hospital. Put the money rather there for us to be what? Well taken care of.
Assembly member for Dego Government Residential Area, Saeed Hashim, whose electoral area majority of the state-owned bungalows are located, agreed with the minister. He, however, will always that the funds are rather channeled to maintaining the existing abandoned bungalows.
If we abandon these government facilities and we go to pump our money into the health facilities, but we have personnel who are supposed to work in. So if they are posted, doctors are posted here, and if they don't have accommodation to stay in, they wouldn't come. So likewise, we are maintaining the health facilities, but we should be able to maintain the accommodation for the personnel to stay in. For the affordable housing, I will advise that government should rather use the money to maintain the already existing cottages rather than pushing it into affordable housing.
Watching from afar, the once loved and envious generational homes appears deserted, hollow and pale shadow of its commission stage. For majority of them, they have seen little or no renovation. For others, the little renovation they had is when there's a change of occupancy, leaking roofs are patched, and the rickety frontage given a facelift. There are swathes of them that are abandoned once the occupants are either transferred or given new accommodation, allowing it to deteriorate. The once shiny roofs in some of these bungalows are partly ripped off. Electric wiring ripped out of the ceiling and carted out of the bungalows, including the conduit pipes. A typical example is this 4-bedroom bungalow located at Tampalapana. It's been abandoned. Walls are on the verge of caving in, and everything on the room either looted or stolen. It has now turned into a public toilet for some residents.
I used to accompany friends to this particular bungalow, which used to be very beautiful. It used to be the envy of the people around this enclave. But today, it is completely deserted. Everything in the room is completely gone. The furniture is no more there. The toilets are not working. And even looking at the roof and in the ceiling is almost collapsing. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafik Salam. Wow.
Well, we'll take a short break. We'll return with showbiz. Stay with us.